My name is Priti, I'm 47 years old, live in Harrow, Middlesex, and I was diagnosed with leukemia. The original symptoms I had, which made me go to the doctors in the first place, was on my left arm there was a plum-coloured, plum-shaped mark, which was quite prominent, and I knew it was a little bit more serious than just a bruise because there was no pain when I touched it. I actually went straight from the GP surgery to the A&E department, and at the reception they were waiting for me and took me straight in, took some blood. The consultant actually came straight out with the diagnosis and said that I'd got leukemia. I was totally on my own at the time. My initial reaction obviously was shock because I hadn't thought at all that I could have cancer. It's one of these things that I know people always say, you never suspect you're going to get it yourself. I actually told Ashik, my son, that I'd got leukemia. He was only 10 at the time, so we needed to explain to him what leukemia was, that it was a blood cancer. He couldn't actually ask any questions, and we realised that he was in shock. So I sent Raj, my husband, out of the room, and then asked Ashik if he had any questions he wanted to ask. And the one thing I will always remember was he was sitting on the ward floor, and he asked whether he could get it and also whether I would be dying from it. I actually told him, gave him the answers and told him the truth at the time that we didn't know whether I was going to live or die. I was actually in isolation for those 4 months. People were allowed, visitors were allowed, but only when my immune system could handle outside infections. I think after those initial 5-6 weeks, yes, my initial response was that I am going to get better. Also knowing my son needed me because he was still young, that was the thought. I was not angry at anything or anyone. It was more to do with just getting better. Advising people who may have the same diagnosis is to say that although everybody's situations are different, is to look at yourself. Obviously, if you've got young children, it's very difficult, but you've got to put yourself as number one. I think anybody who has to go through cancer, not just the patients, but also the family, will understand just exactly what a big role Macmillan and the nurses play. They saw me once a week, made me feel the most important person whilst I was there, ensured that I was well, mentally as well as physically, and I just can't imagine how I would have recovered if I hadn't had Macmillan to support me.